My name is Chris Adams. I'm in Southern California. I run a 30-person software development shop, and we've been using you guys for about probably a year and a half now. And I think the kind of the primary factors that led us to you is echoing what everybody else said, is just the affordability of kind of running these larger tests. When we our usage with the product is sort of project contingent on some projects warrant a sort of higher use case, depending on kind of these volumes of these sites or your projects that we're launching. And when we started pricing out, hey, we need 100,000 virtual users, it just become I'm reporting back to the client of like, hey, what our options are, just became non-economical. So that led us to searching out this product, and kind of stumbling across you guys. I think I actually found you on some blog or related article that was talking about it. I didn't find it through a traditional search, I don't think. So yeah.
I'll write a blog about us so that somebody else finds
Well,
it.
yeah, exactly. And that was kind of one of my topics of kind of takeaways. I think what we could do to help on this end is potentially like a joint communication piece about a post talking about, hey, our testing experiences and sort of what got us to us. We're in the middle of a website revamp, and one of our major focuses is kind of topics such as this. And so I think there might be a good
that'd be great
for this. So yeah, what I'd like to see is, I'm a business user. Our process is not really tied into the CI/CD. We're mostly interacting from from a business administration side of things. So I want more non-technical users to be able to come in and interact with the system and be able to do things there. So most of the improvements I would like to see are probably along the lines of the interface and the usability there. That's probably at least what I've seen, probably the weakest thing that you guys have going on. I'm happy to kind of share specifics, but I've been giving them to Chris, and he's been definitely helpful in fixing some of the the problems. And I do appreciate the latest round of feature enhancements you guys have done. I think that goes a long way of kind of filling some of the gaps that we're needing as the end users. We have there is running some of the larger tests. We have a lot of challenges. Specifically with like getting servers in certain regions to spin up correctly. We're very successful. Like, hey, Virginia works, getting 50 servers spun up in Virginia, but we need to distribute our load across, the 5 different US regions, and our whole test will fail when we need to include Ohio, for example. And I don't know if that's a problem with like, on the Amazon side, but we'll end up waiting 20 minutes for our test roll timeout when we start doing 3 to 5 regions. I don't know if other people are kind of experiencing that as well. And then all this time kind of spinning up, hey, Virginia will spin up, Ohio won't. And at the end of the month, after kind of doing testing and hammering all these servers, like sometimes we end up spending a lot of money. Last year, we were spending upwards of $30,000 a month on Amazon, Amazon hosting costs and things like that. And I think a lot of these would be potentially the ability to auto spin down or kept spin up, which I know was talked about. I think that's actually a great request of, hey, I want to pre-provision these servers so my timeout doesn't actually happen. And then auto kill them at the end of this. This is just a single test. I want to kill these servers at the end, and that's included with my test. Maybe a check or a toggle there. What else? Yeah, I mean, overall, I think you guys are doing a great job. Love the product. Without you guys, we would not be able to be doing what we're doing. So I'm happy to kind of start, sharing this with some of the other people that we work with in the space, and do some like joint collaboration in terms of articles.
That's great. Thanks for the suggestions as well. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris. Hey, Chris, could you just, before we you've run some pretty large tests. I'm not sure exactly how big, but what are some of the big tests that you've run there?
Sure. I think our largest test last year was so our sweet spot for servers is the kind of the large 3.2 8 core, and we're running the kind of the sweet spot without overloading is 2,000 users, 2,000 virtual users on each server with like kind of 5 iterations is usually works pretty well. So when we get over like, when we want to have over 2,000 virtual users on per server, it just doesn't run well at the smaller, 2 core, 4 core type of things. So that's kind of where the bigger costs come in. But, we've done, I think, 250 servers through Amazon at one time, and doing continuously testing day after day, that's definitely run up some costs. Trying to get upwards where we are trying to get through 1.5 million users in like a 10-minute period. So and I guess why this is important is, a lot of the projects that we do are like large, very public class action lawsuits that kind of quickly go viral, where they affect, large percentages of the population, and they come onto these things at, a certain notice, and they go to claim their $250. And, our last project, it only ended up, 500,000 simultaneous users were going through the process and submitting these applications at one time, but we were testing for 1.5 billion, and trying to get to those thresholds was really impossible without any other type of system. Like, we ended up trying to get custom pricing from Loadstorm and, Blaze Meter and things like that. And it was just like, it wasn't even realistic. So
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
That's really cool. It's really fun for us to hear how our little technology is being used at big scale like that. That's great.